Azerbaijan is 3,000 miles away from Britain. It borders Russia to the north, Georgia to the northwest, Iran to the south, and Armenia to the west. I flew to the capital Baku and I used Azerbaijan Airlines, which went from Heathrow. The flight time was surprisingly short, it was only about 5.5 hours. On the flight you have a choice of films, and the cabin crew kept you well fed and watered throughout the journey. Here we are down at the Caspian Sea. Look at all the old architecture. It's like a giant polo over there. The Sydney Opera House. Three flames. Baku certainly is not how you'd expect it. You know, as soon as I say like Azerbaijan or someone, you know they're immediately thinking third world shithole, and this is totally the opposite to that. It's so mint clean everywhere. Everything is mint clean. These three flame-shaped towers are intended to symbolise the elements of fire and are a reference to Azerbaijan's nickname, Land of Fire. Can't park that there, mate. These are what are known as the double gates. No idea why. It's a funny place, this Baku. It's some of it's really old and historic like this, and then other bits of it are really modern. It's sort of like a cross between Canary Wharf and Istanbul. Although this is a Muslim country, I think it's fair to say you see more women walking around in burqas in London than here, and pretty much everywhere you can buy a beer here. So, in the 15th century, the Shirvanshah dynasty under Ibrahim I transferred his capital to Baku following a devastating earthquake in Shamaka. He then began the building of this palace. The complex contains the main building of the palace, the burial vaults, the Shah's mosque, which has got a minaret, and also a mausoleum. We're now at the Azerbaijani Air Force Museum. This is inside the Dervish's tomb. Here's his sarcophagus. This is a right tight squeeze to get out of. That's what the tomb is down there. Just down the hill a bit from this palace is the world's only miniature book museum. This place was founded in 2002 and houses 8,000 tiny books from around the world, 76 countries in fact. It's got a Guinness Book of World Records for the largest private collection of miniature books, and they were all accumulated by a woman who's now 92 years old. Seems by the look of some of them here as well, she was a bit of a commie, the old dear. There's 500 metres left. These are original defensive walls that were built up to protect the Shirvanshah dynasty from invaders back in the 12th century. Pomegranates grow here everywhere, so there's quite often to see vendors on the street selling the juice and that, but in the touristy areas it's quite expensive, to be honest. These women here with the brooms, you see them absolutely everywhere in the mornings, quite keeping everything clean. All along this main drag here, they're putting up these seating bits for the F1 that's coming here. I don't know when, but I think it's soon. Everything's all fenced off up here. I'm up by the other end of the town now. There's the shopping centre there, the Ferris wheel, a gigantic flag up there flying. This looks like the main road into the city. And then the three flames are there. You can only see two of them from this part. And back again. This is the Carpet Museum, and the strange design of the outside of the building here is meant to resemble a carpet. It was once a museum honouring Lenin, but now it charts the history of the Azerbaijani carpet making and includes 1,000 rare rugs from around Azerbaijan. Here we are once again in the Azerbaijani Air Force Museum. Some of the rugs like this depict a hunting scene, whilst you get others that might have a religious or a cultural theme to them. This place here is called Little Venice, and it's just a minute's walk basically from the Carpet Museum, where you can go on a boat. It's only a couple of quid. You're on it for about 5, maybe 10 minutes. Nothing spectacular, but something to do if you want. They have a pretty cool metro service in Baku. Now what you do for a ticket is you go to the machine, and first you get this plastic card called the Baku cart, and then you basically add money on it, and a ride works out at about 40 pence. So if you put say a fiver on it, that'll probably last you for your trip over here. It's very quick, very efficient. I'm not quite sure why, but obviously some security reason, but they go mental if they see you videoing or taking photos down any of the metro stations. So you have to be a bit sneaky if you're going to do it. But a couple of them have got some interesting old Soviet style mosaics on the walls of them that are worth a look. Yeah, I've just literally gone to the end of the line on the metro and jumped out to have a look at the more truer Azerbaijan. There's the old bust of the mosque, I think. There seems to be a lot of these old Soviet tower blocks about. Communal living. We stopped at some little cafe out here in the suburbs to get a pot of tea, and we had 3 cups of tea each out of it, and it come to 1 manat, which was 43 pence. This has just got off on another random metro stop and just having a walk around, but again, even in these suburbs here, look, everything is looked after and mint clean. Very impressed with this place. At this second stop on the metro that we done, we found a bar and we got a pint there of the local brew, and it was 2 manats a pint, so 86p. After that we jumped again on the tube and then we went and had a look at the football ground. Unbeknown to us, there was a football game that night, a World Cup qualifier where Azerbaijan were taking on Ukraine. So I had a look online to see if I could get a ticket, and I could. And the ticket worked out at 7 manats, which was about £3. Yeah, £3. And you could actually get a cheaper ticket for 5 manats if you wanted to. Here we are, 10 minutes before kick-off in our £3 seat. Reason being, you can't see nothing because of them flags. Got police dotted around everywhere in the stands and the army surrounding the pitch, facing the crowd, or facing nothing over there because there's nobody in that terracing, but they're still having to face it. I don't know whether that'd be for the whole game or not, but as it's pretty empty, we're going to move to the middle and get a better view in a minute. A bit of noise. That's the Caspian Sea. They reckon this one of the most polluted ones in the world. You can see down there all the oil. It's no rubbish though, all it is just like thick oil slicks all around the edges. But then again, they're drilling for oil everywhere around here, so it's not surprising, I suppose. This is the funicular from the bottom of the town to the very top of the hill. It costs 1 manat, which is 43p. And when you get up the top and you get out, you're directly outside the flame tower, so you can actually see how big and grand they are when you're right next to them. That big building there is some type of a government building, and then to the left of it you've got the eternal flame, the tomb of the unknown soldier, and the Azerbaijani national flag. This place up here is known as Martyrs Lane, which is a series of monuments and also the graves of the victims of the Red Army's 1990 attack. And a few steps here, just literally behind the Turkish memorial, you've got this memorial here to British and Commonwealth soldiers that died fighting here in Baku in 1918. Actually 2 months before the end of World War I. They were fighting Turkish soldiers. The Turks, being allies to the Germans, were trying to get control of the area and also obviously the oil. This is like a thing that school kids have drawn, all different pictures, but look at what they've drawn. I don't think you get people here pulling down their national flags on it. So today, with a load of other punters, we're all packed into some tiny little minibus and taken off on a tour where we're going to visit 4 or 5 different places around Baku of historical interest. First one is the mosque here. We're off to see the mud volcanoes now, but the bus we're in can't make it. The terrain's so rough, so they've transferred us into these old Russian cars, a little fleet of them that can drive us up there, and it's the bumpiest journey I've ever had in my life. Azerbaijan has 400 of the world's 700 mud volcanoes. These are unique geological formations, mainly located in the Gubistan region. They're not really true volcanoes, but just sites where pressurised gas, mud and water are forced to the surface, creating a moon-like landscape. This is now in Gobustan National Park, where you have a collection of rock carvings and artwork dating back between 20 and 5,000 years. The engravings have depictions of figures such as lance bearers, ritualistic dance scenes, as well as various animal species, bullfighting, camel caravans, and celestial symbols such as the sun and even a swastika.
She says, I am the most happiest person in this world. She's singing that. She says, dünyanın xoşbəxti mənəm dünyada. In this dünya, the most happiest person is me.
Понятно, лошадь. Кстати, почему вот лошади вам напоминают, еще говорю? Потому что вот по...
This is the third stop. This is the rock art, which is pretty underwhelming to be fair. There's a few there, like the one up there I've just put up. That looks like it's been done recently to me. That doesn't look like it's 12 million years old or however long it is. But what they don't tell you on these trips, you pay your route fare. We paid about 25 quid for it. And you see online and people saying, oh yeah, the trip's only £7 or £10 and what great value. But everywhere you go you have to pay. We've had to pay 10 minutes to get in this place. Then the mud volcanoes, we had to pay 25 minutes there. You're getting an old Russian banger car that drives you up to there because the road's so terrible the van can't make it. So it ain't what it seems. These holes here in the ground, they were apparently dug for rainwater or sacrificial blood as offerings to the gods. What they'd sacrifice, I don't know. Humans, I suppose. Sitting on this bench, you just cannot help but think that rock is going to fall on you. This here, under the number 31, is the swastika I mentioned earlier. You might just be able to make it out. These ones here are hunters. The next one is supposedly a ritual dance. And then above the hunters here, you've got a boat, looks a bit like a old Viking boat. And lastly, we've got what looks like an old pantomime horse. This is the grounds of the fire temple here. There's the ticket office there. We were just paying another 15 minutes for entry. So that's every single thing we've been to today, other than the first one, the mosque, we've had to pay for, which they didn't tell you about. This place, Atashka, actually means the house of fire. What you get across Azerbaijan is deposits of oil and gas quite near to the surface, which can actually ignite, and once it's alight, they can actually last for years on end if they're not put out. So back in the day when people were seeing this, they thought it was the gods doing it. So a whole religion grew up around it, Zoroastrianism, if that's how you pronounce it, and these fire temples are all part of that. This is our last stop on the trip, Yarnadag, and this is what they call the fire mountain, where you can see at the bottom here where you've got these eternal flames going on, which supposedly are coming from natural oil and gas deposits that are leaking out. This is one of the boulevards inside the town centre in Baku. It's very modern, a lot of the places here, but you're also going to be paying prices pretty similar to home in these, so you've got to get out into the suburbs to get the bargains. This is why it's called Fountain Square. You've got all these fountains down here. They're off at the moment because it's early in the morning, but again, really nice picturesque. Clean as a whistle everywhere. All there is leaves. There's no litter. I was told though that it's 300 man fine, which is about £150 if the police catch you dropping a cigarette butt or a bit of chewing gum or whatever. And they do say that there's quite a bit of corruption here with the authorities. So basically, if you get caught dropping a cigarette butt, the police are going to be a bit overzealous on it because the money's going to go straight in their pocket. But you just do not see it here. Also, with these tiles or pavias on the floor and that, they're totally level everywhere. I've been to countries before and you're not near on falling down them, and when it rains there's all divots full of water, but on this can't see anything. It just looks absolutely perfect what they've done. Final thoughts on Baku. It was a decent enough place, very clean, the people were alright. If you got out of the tourist hotspots, you could get a bargain for food and drink. I think a week would be far too long here. 2 or 3 days and you've seen and done it all. The old town's pretty small, and you can do like 1 day trip in it, and you see basically everything on that 1 day trip. So yeah, I'd be careful about how many days you come here for. But other than that, yeah, it was okay. A bit different, but yeah, it was alright.